Welcome to StarWatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
There are moments in the entertainment world when silence speaks louder than applause, and distance becomes more powerful than presence. In a landscape filled with constant noise, speculation, and ever-shifting narratives, one name continues to stand in a space of striking calm, almost untouched by the turbulence around him. Wang Yibo, often described by supporters as reserved and deeply focused, is once again at the center of online attention, not because he seeks it, but because his stillness seems to invite interpretation. While some voices online weave stories of conflict and hidden tensions, others see something entirely different, a figure who appears to have chosen elevation over engagement, discipline over distraction. In today's StarWatch Now coverage, we step into a narrative shaped by contrast, perception, and the powerful psychology of fame, where truth and imagination often walk side by side. What does it mean when someone is seen standing on a peak, while the world below continues to debate their every move? And why does quiet strength so often become the loudest story of all? In the vast and ever-evolving world of entertainment, perception often travels faster than fact. Wang Yibo has, over time, become a figure associated with precision, discipline, and a noticeably low-profile approach to public life. Rather than constantly stepping into the center of media cycles, he has often been described in reports and fan observations as someone who prioritizes craft, training, and personal rhythm over external noise. This deliberate distance has created an unusual space around him, one where absence becomes presence, and silence becomes interpretation. In recent online discussions, particularly across social platforms, various narratives have emerged suggesting tension, misunderstanding, or unseen dynamics within the broader entertainment environment. However, it is important to recognize that much of this remains unverified and shaped by fragmented information circulating online. What stands out more than any single claim is the way audiences react to him. For some, his reserved nature is interpreted as mystery, even elevation. For others, it becomes a canvas onto which stories are projected, shaped not by evidence, but by imagination. This duality is not new in modern celebrity culture, where visibility is often mistaken for truth and silence is frequently filled with assumption. In Wang Yibo's case, his consistent focus on professional growth and selective public engagement has only intensified this effect. Each appearance, whether on stage, screen, or in brief public moments, is magnified, analyzed, and discussed far beyond its original context. Over the past period, online spaces have occasionally been filled with discussions referencing alleged incidents or circulating screenshots, often described by observers as incomplete or lacking verification. These discussions tend to escalate quickly, fueled by emotional interpretation rather than confirmed detail. In response to such situations, official statements have at times clarified positions and expressed intentions to address misinformation through appropriate channels. Yet beyond the surface of these events lies a deeper pattern that is increasingly familiar in the digital age: the rapid construction of narratives that blur the line between observation and invention. What makes Wang Yibo's presence particularly compelling in this environment is not the absence of controversy itself, but the way he appears to remain unaffected by its intensity. He is often portrayed by supporters as someone who channels energy into discipline rather than reaction, choosing movement in work rather than engagement in noise. This creates a symbolic contrast that many audiences find powerful. The idea of a person continuing upward while external narratives shift and change around them. In this framing, the mountain becomes less a literal place and more a metaphor for focus, endurance, and personal direction. At the same time, it is essential to acknowledge the broader context in which all public figures now exist. The speed of digital communication means that stories can form within minutes, evolve within hours, and be reinterpreted endlessly without clear resolution. In such an environment, even routine details can be amplified into larger discussions, and silence itself can be interpreted in multiple, often conflicting ways. This dynamic does not belong to one individual alone. It reflects a wider cultural shift in how audiences consume and engage with public narratives. For many observers, Wang Yibo's continued emphasis on professionalism and limited exposure outside of work commitments is seen as a conscious form of balance. Rather than engaging in every wave of commentary, he appears to maintain a structured distance, focusing on areas where his contribution is tangible and direct. This approach, whether intentional as strategy or simply personal preference, has contributed to a public image defined as much by restraint as by visibility. It is within this restraint that different interpretations emerge, some viewing it as strength, others as mystery, and some simply as privacy in an era that often resists it. In examining the wider reaction, it becomes clear that audiences are not only responding to the individual, but also to what he represents. In a world saturated with constant self-expression, someone who does not continuously explain or respond becomes a focal point for projection. Supporters often describe admiration for his consistency and focus, while critics or skeptical voices may interpret the same traits differently. This divergence of perception is what fuels ongoing discussion and keeps narratives alive long after initial moments have passed. Yet beyond interpretation, there is a quieter story that often goes unnoticed. It is the story of sustained effort, routine discipline, and the unseen structure behind public appearances. Whether in preparation, training, or creative work, the emphasis on consistency over spectacle forms a foundation that is rarely visible but deeply influential. In many ways, this is where the metaphor of standing on higher ground gains its emotional weight. It is not about separation from others, but about commitment to a chosen path, regardless of external commentary. As online conversations continue to evolve, the importance of distinguishing between confirmed information and speculative narrative becomes increasingly significant. The entertainment world thrives on stories, but not all stories reflect complete reality. In this space, responsibility lies not only with those who share information, but also with those who interpret it. The balance between curiosity and caution is what shapes a healthier understanding of public discourse. Ultimately, what remains consistent in Wang Yibo's public image is a sense of direction. Whether viewed through admiration or curiosity, he is often associated with forward movement, steady progress, and a focus that resists distraction. In a cultural landscape where attention is constantly divided, this form of consistency stands out not because it is loud, but because it is sustained. And perhaps that is why the narrative continues to resonate, not because of the noise around it, but because of the stillness at its center. Thank you for staying with StarWatch Now through today's exploration of this unfolding narrative. If you find value in our storytelling approach, we warmly invite you to subscribe to the channel, join our growing community, and continue following us for more in-depth perspectives on the world of entertainment. Your support allows us to keep bringing thoughtful, balanced, and engaging content that goes beyond surface-level headlines. We appreciate every viewer who takes the time to watch, reflect, and share in these stories with us. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next update.